Oh, and you can mainly see the computer. Lovely. Sorry, I'm not good with angles. I need a videographer. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. Hey, y'all. Whew, I'm not feeling good today. I'm not feeling good at all, actually. I'm probably depressed. That's what happens when you're homeless. Like, you can't really see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm trying to figure out. I hope my phone works. I hope it does. I hope it works. Let's see here. My computer ain't working. Yeah, I haven't been in the greatest mood, but I'm going to try to get in a better mood. Caffeine. Maybe some news will perk me up. Hey, y'all. Oh, stop it. You're going to make me blush. I feel a mess. I wanted to put some makeup on. You ever want to get up and take care of yourself and actually put some effort in? But then you have things to do before you can actually get ready. And so you get this long list of stuff done that you needed to do. And then by the time you get to self-care, you're like, ugh, I ain't doing this today. I changed my mind. That's what happened. I woke up all enthusiastic about looking cute. And then I got in the shower and decided not to do makeup. So whatever. It's been raining. TMZ is wild. Y'all, first of all, this computer that I got for school at the beginning of the year, it has all of this cool stuff on it. All of these, I guess it's apps. I don't know what to call it. It has its own Microsoft program that looks up all of these news articles and stuff. I didn't even know that was on here. Somebody, a technology person, was like, that you don't have to use Google. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, you have a whole different search engine. Tell me why some of the coolest news articles have been coming. I mean, it's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. I bet there's so much that Google keeps from us. Did y'all see these crazy people in Florida beating the hell out of each other in front of youngins? Because I'm going to talk about it. So if you haven't seen it yet, where's my phone? There was a group of people that went, I think it was like a festival. The name of it has my name in it. Hold on one second. It was it's called the Donnybrook. I don't know what that is, if I'm being honest. I want to know. It sounds like some sort of event. Does somebody know what that is? Happy Wednesday, y'all. Hey, Robin. Janie. Hey, Sean. Darius. Jim. Good afternoon. I hope it's not raining where you are. Oh, that's what it's called. A public brawl is called a Donnybrook. I thought it was like Woodstock. I thought that Donnybrook was well, what were they doing? Lord have mercy, let me find out. Hold on one second, because the TMZ article doesn't tell me. Were they just out fish? Listen, let me just read this, because I'm confused. So all of these parts, so y'all remember the Cincinnati thing with the woman and the men getting knocked out? In my opinion, that was a hate crime. This is a little different, but it's still degeneracy. It's still people publicly having complete regard for human life and public safety. And can I just say that I've watched these videos, they're violent, the one in Cincinnati and the one out of Florida. Two different groups of people, ironically, both acting just as reckless. And, this is really not a race thing, okay? People act stupid no matter where you go. I do think that Cincinnati thing was yes, I think it was a hate crime. But these people, what really stood out to me is while these people are fighting, I see boats. So I don't know if this was like a lake event where everybody was getting together to just go out on the water, drink, party, blah, 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 blah. That's what it appears to be. It appears to be some sort of public park, boat dock, launching dock. Everybody's fighting. Everybody's knocking each other out. 2 people were knocked unconscious. The only thing that really stood out to me were the children. And I haven't seen one person on social media in any comment section talking about those children. In the video, at the very end of the video, as the video pans towards some people in the front, it's hard to describe. Let's see if I can show you. You can see children sitting on vessels watching their parents fight. Small children. We're talking 4, 5 years old tops. So these people are in jail, and rightfully so. So let me read this. So it was in Florida Lake, out at Florida Lake. Like I said, 2 people were completely knocked unconscious. The police showed up and started rounding up everybody that was fighting and tossed everybody in jail. So it looks like this happened on August 2nd, and it does look like, I was going to show you, but I have no way to do that. It looks like it was like a park, or, you know, you can see the water, and then you can see where people can launch their boats. And it looks like everybody's out there having a good time. And then all of a sudden, TMZ is wild. The knuckleheads went all WWE for the camera, throwing punches and kicking each other. One dude is seen laying on the ground, completely unconscious, as a young bikini-clad woman performs CPR on him. Once again, I don't care about these idiots that are idiots. I care about the children. Imagine being a small child, and that is your father on the ground, unconscious, and you're watching some lady that you do not know perform CPR on your father. And I don't know if that was the case, but as you can clearly see here, that is a child. All of these adults, you know where I would have been? Over there with that baby. It's ridiculous. I mean, at least the in my opinion, the hate crime that took place in Cincinnati, at least all the children were in bed then. At least there were no children that we saw that witnessed this violence go down. And this is how learned bad behavior is spread throughout society. You know, these children that had to witness this, I feel horrible for them. And it goes to show that, yeah, there's some really bad parents out there. So it looks like, making matters worse, police say several minors were subjected to all of the violence. I'm glad that someone noted that. This is the first time I've seen it noted. It seems like everybody just overlooked that detail. One person even told the cops that his family outing was completely ruined by this because it caused his loved ones to go into distress. Not everybody out here is used to watching each other be violent like this. It's shocking to a lot of people, and I'm sure that there were people out there that was like, oh my God, you know, grabbing their children, running towards the car. Let me be clear, if anything ever breaks out like this around you, the best thing that you can do is grab your stuff and go, because these knuckleheads are trying to kill each other, and Lord forbid one of them has a gun on the boat. They just like a gun in the car. When stuff like this breaks out, you need to run for the exit. And, you know, these suspects look exactly like you would think they would look for this type of violence. I mean, you know. So what about white privilege when it comes to rich kids? Because this is something that I saw all over Florida. And a lot of those kids, I'm going to call them kids, they're grown-ass adults, but a lot of those kids that were out there fighting, I could tell they come from a place of privilege. All that money, and you out here in the streets fighting, you live in Florida. You're out on a boat in one of the nicest places in the United States to party, vacation, and this is how you act. I guess you can take, what is it? The trash out of the trailer park, but not the trailer out of the trash. Something like that. Anyways, yeah, you see a lot of this in Florida. Rich people who clearly come from privilege, that have means to an end, they act a fool a lot. You know, that's a whole subcategory of violent people that act degenerate. Rich people. Ain't that crazy? Officers eventually called to the crazy scene and arrested 8 of the hooligans who were taken to the local jail to pose for their mugshots. They were booked on various charges, including rioting, trespassing, and disorderly conduct. They do not know what triggered the fight or the extent of the injuries. And since this occurrence, they have posted no trespassing signs on this property now. So that leads me to believe that maybe it was some kind of boat access, but was not deemed like a public park, but it was like a jump off point for people locally to go launch their boats. Now that there's trespassing signs posted, clearly whoever owned that property and gave these people access to that property is not happy about this incident. I think the most disturbing part is the children that witnessed this. And other people, imagine taking your kids out to go fish and you're standing on the shore, pops off. I mean, it's crazy. People are really crazy and it's scary. And I have, you know, I mean, most of us with common sense know that they were out there on that water drinking. And it was probably something stupid like an ego or pride or minor words that got this going, which is ridiculous, you know. Y'all know how I feel about taking children out into those waters on boats with alcohol. I do not agree with it. I've actually reported on a case at the beginning of the year where a boat capsized and everybody was killed, the entire family, children included. The father, who in my opinion had very limited experience with driving this type of vessel. It was a very large yacht. Yeah, he killed the whole family. One of the only survivors was his wife. It was like 6 or 7 people. And then recently there was another boat that capsized, the same thing, out of Florida. The father was intoxicated. There was another guy that was driving a boat in the middle of the night. He didn't have lights on. He was intoxicated. And he actually ran over an entire water ferry, killing people. He literally drove. So it was like one of those little, like a pontoon boat. His boat launched into the pontoon boat, killing people, driving completely over the pontoon boat. And he left the scene of the accident. They finally got him. So, in most of these boating accidents, there is alcohol involved. I just don't agree with taking your kids out on a boat where you know that there's going to be drinking. I understand that you feel responsible as a parent, but when you're in this type of setting where you're hanging out with friends or relatives or whatever, don't put your children on a boat where people are drinking. It's as simple as that. Keep them safe, okay? I don't care that that's your great uncle that knows how to drive or your grandfather or your boyfriend. I don't care. If there's alcohol involved, keep the children off the boat. I don't care who's driving. I don't care who knows how to swim. I don't care who's part of the damn police department. That was another. Remember the police and his girlfriend? There was an officer and his girlfriend. Something happened with their 2 children leading to one of the children's deaths. And there was alcohol involved. That was about 1.5 years ago. We talked about that. But anyways, most of these cases where there's children dying on boats, it's alcohol. It's unfortunate. Y'all, it's been so crappy. The weather has been absolutely horrible. Yeah, and I don't know. I think people have become too trusting of others. My parents never took me to friends' parties or like anything like that. I think that I'm grateful for that now because that taught me what's safe and what's not safe when it comes to children. I see a lot of people that just take their kids any old where and just kind of let them have free roam, of the property. And I just think that you need to be more conscientious and keep up with your kids better. And I wouldn't have a child anywhere that's a social event with alcohol, but I know that it's coming. I'm aware of the culture. That's why I talk about these things, because, yeah. So there was another little boy. When I read this, y'all, I thought that maybe the father put the son up to shooting the mother. So there was a mother that was shot by her 4-year-old son a week ago in Washington. This is out of Linwood, Washington. And when I saw it, I was like, did this man put this child up to shooting? No, that's not what happened. But the father is in jail. He sure is. He gave access to this firearm to his 4-year-old son. And so he was arrested after the mother was shot in their home. Can you imagine the dysfunction? So this happened around 8:01 a.m. and deputies were responding to Linwood, Washington, because a man had called 911. They discovered that this young boy who was 4 years old had somehow gotten this gun and shot his mother in the upper left arm. The boy also had minor injuries from the gun. It says from the incident. Sorry, I'm laughing because for once CPS knows how to do their job. So it looks like Child Protective Services immediately came in with a warrant to take custody of both children from the mother and the father after this incident. They were placed in the care of other family members. There was 2 children. There was the 4-year-old and the 9-year-old. It looks like investigators determined the boy had received the firearm from his 44-year-old father, who was reportedly sleeping on the couch when the gun went off. Deputies discovered multiple unsecured firearms throughout the residency. The boy's father was arrested and booked into the Snohomish County Jail in Everett, Washington. He faces charges of reckless endangerment, lawful storage of a firearm. There needs to be a new charge for these parents that cannot follow law and order with their firearms. We need some kind of charge where if someone's reckless actions leads to the shooting or killing of someone else by that firearm, that party is charged with some sort of I guess it would be involuntary manslaughter, right? But she didn't die. But some sort of criminal charge if the weapon is used in the commission of violence or criminal act for that party who owned the gun to be charged with a criminal offense. And I don't know if they have anything like that. I'm sure if someone died, once again, it'd be involuntary manslaughter. But what about the mother getting shot? What is that? Involuntary assault with a deadly weapon inflicting serious injury. We need new laws. And maybe they do have a law. Maybe they do have something. But in my opinion, reckless endangerment and unlawful storage of a firearm is not good enough. She could have died. And he hit her in the shoulder. So that sounds like he was aiming for the head to me. That's too close. Like, I'm just saying. Oh, wow. So this is from today, by the way, if you're wondering where this is from, if you want to go read it. In June of 2024, a 4-year-old girl in Washington, D.C., the metro area, accidentally shot herself after getting hold of an unsecured gun inside a relative's home. The firearm was a, quote, ghost gun. Ghost guns are typically untraceable because they are homemade. The little girl suffered non-fatal injuries, but the incident outraged neighbors and lawmakers. Are we not allowed to give it out? Minutes? I'm joking. Can we come up with some kind of test? Like, maybe not an IQ test, but like, not everybody needs firearm, okay? I'm too angry. I'm not allowed to be around them anyways, but I'm too angry. And other people are too stupid. Okay? Lazy. You know, what excuse would you have to leave out a firearm around a child? There is none. There's not a singular excuse. But you know, I've dated some pretty smart people that had children and firearms, and you know what they in fact did? Leave those firearms around children. You know, I just think that too many people have this idea in their heads that their children would never. And unfortunately, most children will, because they're curious. And it's, you know, an owner's duty to secure those firearms when they get them. Hey, Annie. Sorry. Oh, let me stop messing with stuff before I break something and everything falls apart. And I ain't got much. I'm in a literal closet. Hey, as long as this little... Hey, we fitting. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that if that falls, this is going to fall, and then it's going to cause a chain reaction, okay? Because I'm in a literal closet. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. I mean, at least the mother didn't die. I wonder if she's going to divorce him. I'm telling you, if we get married and one of our kids shot me, oh, we are so done, because I know I've already told you 50,000 times to lock those guns up. I wouldn't be with somebody that was that reckless anyways. You know, like, and that's why returning the buggy is so important, because people that don't return the buggy are the type of people that leave a loaded firearm out for small children to play with. You know? Yeah, we getting a divorce. And I'm going to think that you put our child up to trying to kill me. You know? Like, I'm going to think you had it out for me and that was intentional. And I'm going to be in divorce court saying so. It's crazy. Yo, I read this case of this pit bull attack. Y'all know I'm obsessed with those. It's one of the inconsistencies in the world that genuinely just does not make any sense to me. Most dog attacks every year are pit bulls. We've been over the numbers before. They have new numbers. We should look at those because they've actually skyrocketed since COVID. With people becoming... Here, let me try to rephrase it. With people more busy than ever and stressed out more than ever. I tried. Never mind. Mother and son sentenced in a pit bull attack that killed a neighbor. First of all, this is the first time I've ever seen criminal charge. I've never seen this. They were actually convicted of involuntary manslaughter. And I agree with every moment of this. And I don't know why this hasn't been done before either, because remember the homeless man that was riding on a bicycle and he had all this stuff on the bike, and these pit bulls had gotten loose out of this wooden fence. They had literally broke some of the wooden planks digging at the bottom and then got under and broke the planks. And so there was this huge hole in the fence. And I think it was like 4 to 7 pit bulls. That man had so much weight on him. He had on a book bag and like some camping gear. He had what appeared to be a sleeping bag and maybe a tent. And he's on a bicycle. So you've seen me on mine. Y'all hear me talk about the weight and how heavy everything is on that bike. Those pit bulls bum rushed him. He falls down with all of this stuff on him. I'm literally getting chill bumps. It's so heartbreaking. He died. They killed him. They literally mauled him to death in the middle of the street as he screamed out for help. It was horrific. I need to look that up and talk about that, because that's literally one of the worst. I mean, he was completely defenseless because all of the equipment he had on and the way that he was on the bicycle kind of trapped him in a position. When he went down, he kind of fell on his side and he had all of that weight and he could not get up. It's crazy, crazy. So I do believe that the owner of those pit bulls in that case was like citated or something but there was no, from what I remember, and that's why I want to look it up. From what I remember, there was no criminal charges. So this is out of Circleville, Ohio. Am I saying that right? Anybody from Ohio? Did I nail it? Like a brownie point? Do I know how to speak English? Circleville. Or is it Circleville? Oh, Lord. Ohio. The owners of 2 pit bulls that attacked and killed their neighbor have been sentenced to prison. So this was a son and his mother. Adam and Susan Withers were both sentenced to 14 to 16 and a half years after being convicted of involuntary manslaughter. Their dogs, Echo and Apollo, attacked and killed 73-year-old Joanne Echlen-Barger back in October. The dogs were running loose at the time of the attack. Yes, Alexa, I do believe that that's the way that it is here in North Carolina. If your neighbor or your child or anybody gets bit, then they euthanize the animal. But I think it varies by state. Yeah, if your dog bites somebody in certain states, they'll euthanize the animal. Animal control will show up and euthanize it because it attacked someone. So it looks like prosecutors had argued that this mother and her son, that they knew that these dogs were vicious, dangerous, and that this mother and her son were completely negligent. The police had also testified that the front door of their home did not close or lock properly, allowing these dogs to get out in free roam. So it sounds like these dogs had been running loose frequently, and they just were completely careless. First of all, they don't look like happy people. They don't look like they've respected themselves over the years. So is it any surprise that they neglected these animals and their own property to secure these animals? I'm not trying to talk about people, but I mean, sometimes Jesus makes people's outside match the inside as a warning. They look like they're depressed. I mean, and they've been in jail. I mean, and then they're doing 14 to 16 years each for these animals killing. And this was Miss Joanne. Lord help them. Oh, God. I can already imagine how horrible this is. First of all, Miss Joanne was 73. As you can see, she has a little bit of weight on her. She wouldn't have been able to fight these animals back. They would have pulled her to the ground, and she wouldn't have been able to get back up, judging by the size of her weight, allegedly, and her age. She wouldn't have been able to get off the ground. Once they had her on the ground, it would have been over. And it sounds like that's what took place. It looks like she was working in her flower beds, minding her. Imagine she was already on the ground. Can you imagine being down on your hands and knees and you digging a little hole to plant your little flowers, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere from behind comes these 2 big ass pit bulls, and they're just on your neck like white on rice. Horrific. I mean, out of nowhere. It's literally worst scenario. And can I just say that being mauled by a bunch of pit bulls is probably not a quick death. It's probably very painful. You're probably pretty aware of what's happening to you, and you cannot stop it, especially if there's multiple dogs on you. Horrific. Yeah, so they absolutely deserve to be in jail. I mean, I'm actually surprised by that. Ohio, I guess, doesn't play, right? Because that's a large... Oh, wow. So it looks like there was a previous attack from 2023 from the same dogs of someone else that was attacked, because here is a photo, and they got it from Adam Withers' cell phone. So I don't know if that's his mother's hand or another neighbor, God forbid. This looks like it was from a previous attack. I'm trying to switch through pictures. I'm not good at the internet, y'all. I'm still... And I'm wondering if maybe it says injuries from a 23 attack by dog. Hold on one second. It's not clear. I don't know. It's not clear. That might have been from her attack. I don't know. From Miss Joanne's attack, the one that the lady that was killed, but I don't know. Yeah, so they're going to be in prison for the next 15 years. I wish that it would tell me a date. It doesn't. It's okay. So sad. Just imagine, though, being out there by yourself and then all of a sudden these dogs are on you. It's literally worst case scenario. What? Janie, I am so sorry. That is crazy. That sounds like Cujo. Have y'all ever seen that movie where she's stuck in the car and she can't get out? It's kind of the opposite, but yeah, I think that animal attacks, these I think the animal attacks and the firearm cases are going to get bigger, and I'm not trying to sound cynical. It's because people are becoming more irresponsible. They're not clicking on all cylinders like they used to. They're leading busier lives, which leads to more potential for neglect in animals and firearms, leaving them unlocked. I think that stuff like this is going to get worse, unfortunately. And we've seen that. Look at the school shootings. Most of those are committed by children who obtain those firearms from parents. They've absolutely gotten worse. So it's unfortunate. The best thing we can do is to educate each other on proper firearm safety and locking those guns up. By law, if you are a firearm holder, it is supposed to be under lock and key at all times unless you are at the shooting range or somebody's done broke into your house and you're going to have to lay somebody out. It is supposed to be under lock and key, especially if you have children in the home. And it's just crazy to me how many of these cases we read with pit bulls and children, and it's a parental problem on both sides. It's a people problem. It's unfortunate. Y'all, I was looking y'all know how I like to look up cops that have been arrested. So I was looking earlier because it's been like 6 months since we've done like a proper Talk It To. And there was a New Jersey cop who's 24 years of age. His name is Jason. I'm sorry. It's not Jason. It's Joshua Munyon. And he's from Atlantic City. It looks like he has been charged. I wanted to see when this happened. Hold on one second. I want to look him up. Like his current status. Atlantic City. So this happened back in April. It looks like he's been charged with SAing one of the inmates. Why? You are attractive. You got your what is wrong with these people? I'm telling y'all, I don't understand. Hold on one second. Let me find a picture. By all outward appearances, I would never assume that this guy was a sexual predator, but he in fact is. And his age is 24. They're just getting younger and younger when it comes to these sex crimes, and it's because of pornography. So it looks like he was a New Jersey cop, and he's been charged with first-degree aggravated sexual assault and second-degree counts of sexual assault and official misconduct. It looks like he allegedly handcuffed and R-worded a female vehicle inside of his squad car after initially interacting with her while on duty. The victim immediately reported the assault after being returned. Let me see what else I can find out. Hold on, because this is very vague. So it looks like this is out of South Jersey. This happened on September 13th of last year. It looks like he was serving a summons to the victim for being intoxicated at the Tropicana Casino. According to the court documents, Joshua allegedly drove the victim to a parking lot where he stated he would take her back to the casino if she performed sex acts. So he was trying to make a deal with her to make the citation or the criminal charge disappear if she would perform sex acts for him. The woman who authorities said was handcuffed, she said that she did not provide consent, but she felt that she had no other option and no other means of transportation, means of communicating with the party she was traveling with. So he officially kidnapped her ass, put handcuffs on her, threw her in the back of a police cruiser, and took her away from the casino. And then says, if you do this for me, then I'll do this for you. And once again, she's also intoxicated, which he knew, and he was using that to his advantage to try to sexually assault her. The victim reported injuries to her wrist during the assault from being handcuffed. She told casino security what happened as soon as she was driven back by the officer. So as soon as he dropped her off at the Tropicana, she went running to security to tell them what just happened to her. There was quite a scene at the Tropicana because she had been ejected. But having been transported back by the defendant, she went back into the Tropicana, which obviously alerted the security because she had been removed. Now, this is what the prosecutor said. Oh, so they didn't want her on the Tropicana property. And when she shows back up, it caused a scene because she wasn't even supposed to be there. Damn. According to the investigators, vehicle GPS from Joshua's police cruiser, body-worn camera footage corroborated statements made by the victim. Police say that Joshua failed to notify his supervisors of the allegation and denied the assault. During the hearing, his attorney tried to paint a different picture of who he was. And then they tried to throw her under the bus. So she had previously admitted that she had took magic mushrooms. She had smoked some marijuana, and that she admitted to taking shots of cognac. So they're going to victim blame and try to destroy her character. It looks like the judge found probable cause for all three charges, which included first-degree aggravated sexual assault, second-degree sexual assault, and second-degree official misconduct. His next scheduled hearing, yeah. What a creep. I wonder if he went into that profession just to be a pervert. And I wonder how many times that's worked. Ugh. What about his body camera? What about his body camera? I don't know. I don't have nothing in there. It doesn't tell me, but God. I mean, for real though, he's an attractive guy for, his age and stuff. Like, what is really going on out here, y'all? Oh, hello. Oh, thank you, Paul. Hey, Girl Mom. Girl Mom 08. Oh. Oh, I got to talk about this crazy girl out of freaking New Jersey, y'all. This cop is insane. She's so cute. I forgot about this. Sorry, I got excited. This woman is insane. She was a New Jersey cop. She done kicked in the front door, whooped two people's butt, went insane. And when I show you her, you're going to be like, there ain't no way. She looks so innocent. She's crazy. Listen. Cop. She was arrested. I'm trying to get my computer and my phone to work. All these devices and nothing works. Here we go. So it's an off-duty female New Jersey cop was arrested for allegedly kicking in the front door of a residence and assaulting two in a violent home invasion. And when I show you a picture of this girl, I would have never thought. I mean, she's absolutely gorgeous, but God, she crazy. She crazy. Listen, bless her heart. So she kicks in the front door. She looks like she weighs 90 pounds. She kicked in the front door and went ham. Went absolutely ham. She smashed her way into this home. As the report reads, an off-duty female cop out of New Jersey was arrested for allegedly smashing her way into a home and then assaulting two people in a violent home invasion. Toms River Police Officer Rebecca A. who previously sued her department for an alleged sexual harassment case, is accused of breaking into the house of Berkeley Township just before 11:30 p.m. Friday in Ocean County. The Ocean County Prosecutor's Office said, hold on, wait a second. So she previously sued her department in a sexual assault case. Hold on a second. I'm nosy. I want to know it all. And her last name is Saygh. Lawsuit. 32-year-old cop allegedly smashed the front door glass of the property before assaulting and threatening two people that live in the residence. I got it right here. She sued the police department for a toxic work environment. She said that they were all sexually harassed. She's absolutely gorgeous. This is why it's just so mind-blowing. Because she looks like a bright-eyed, happy, young recruit that's ready to take on the world with her whole life ahead of her. Ready to save the world, protect and serve. She is certifiably flipping crazy. Do you hear me? I mean, and seriously, though, can you just not control yourself? Or what do you think is going to happen when you're done smashing in the door and assaulting these people? You just going to walk away and nothing's going to happen? I mean, what was she thinking? Moments before the alleged home invasion, the off-duty cop also trashed the hood of one of the victim's parked cars in the driveway. Girl. It wasn't immediately clear how this girl knew the others involved. So it looks like someone called the cops. The cops responded to a domestic disturbance. She was cuffed, and she actually was resisting arrest at the scene. It's funny because she knew she was going to get a resisting arrest charge for resisting arrest, and she still did it anyways. Was she on drugs? It sounds like she was drunk or something. She was slapped with a slew of charges, including home invasion, burglary, assault, criminal mischief, threats, and resisting arrest. She's being held in the detention center. And look, oh God, I bet she was harassed. Look at her with all them men, and she's the only girl. Yeah, I know that she was absolutely sexually harassed probably every day. And I believe her on the lawsuit, but she's certifiably crazy. Like, she don't need no badge and gun. She cannot control herself. I'm trying to get up this lawsuit because I want to see how bad it was. So this ordeal comes roughly 6 months after she hit her employer with a lawsuit alleging that a boys' club in the department ranks resulted in her being sexually harassed and passed over for promotions. Girl, you should have knew that before you went to work at the police department. Don't you know the ratio of men to women? Anyways, I'm not saying she deserves to be sexually harassed, but I do think that women going into a male-dominated career and field need to be conscientious of the real world. And clearly, she's not aware of the real world, how things actually work. She was recently honored for courage after running into a burning home to save a woman and her pets. Damn, girl, you had it all. I mean, they still don't know why she went crazy. Still don't know. No. I wonder if she has PMDD, because that would explain it all. That would explain it all. Yeah, little Miss is a little psycho, okay? Y'all, I found another case that was crazy that I do want to talk about. Let's see if I can find it. There was an officer that was arrested. Hello, hey, Angie. Oh, God, everybody talking about me being homeless. I am absolutely homeless. Do I have to get on here and say that every live? I'm still homeless. I am homeless. This is not my home. This is an office space that I rent so I can work. People are really just fucking haters. Haters. Hater. God, they see walls and they think that I bought walls. They see light and they're like, she made light. Like, hello. People are so stupid. That'd be like, you go visit Mar-a-Lago and you say, you go visit Mar-a-Lago, you take a picture. No. You go to Trump Towers in Durrell and you take a picture at dinner and all of a sudden people think that you own Trump Towers in Durrell. And you moved to Trump Towers in Durrell. Could you imagine? So sick of people. I'm so sick of people. Okay, here we go. So this is that girl's lawsuit. Hold on 1 second. Get that one going while I got this one up. So it looks like this female officer, Rebecca, she claimed that it was a toxic work environment, stating that her higher-ups allowed one of the officers to shamelessly pursue a sexual relationship with her. Oh, wow. He, like, took his pickle out and everything. Yeah. Oh, he, like, followed her into the bathroom and then pulled his pickle out. Jesus. She was called the new girl by male officers for 3 years. Girl. At least they wasn't calling you the new guy. Like, she was offended because they called her the new girl for 3 years. I would have found that a term of endearment. Like, oh, well, at least they know I'm a lady, you know? At least they know, you know? What is wrong with people, y'all? Oh, God. There was over 6 different officers that was trying to mess with her. yeah, they literally had so much, like, it was like office banter, but it was always about her and it was always sexual shit. I mean, this lawsuit is absolutely mind. She has like dozens of instances where they were completely inappropriate. The main one I'm worried about is the pickle incident. I mean, these guys definitely shouldn't have been saying anything to her, but I think, once again, as women, we need to be conscientious about keeping ourselves safe because it's up to us. And this is what I mean when I say that. You would think that you come out of the academy, you get hired at a police department, and they have laws and procedure and HR and nothing bad will happen to you. That's not the real world. Unfortunately, it's up to you to keep yourself safe. And this is what I mean when I say this. So, and I'm not trying to, like, you know, beat on the industry of law enforcement, but I've been incarcerated many times in my life, and I know what's on the other side of that fence. Been there, done that. The last time I was in jail in Rockingham County, I was sexually harassed by every single officer that came in my vicinity unless they were female. The level of unprofessionalism is disgusting. If I had money, I could sue the shit out of them. I was homeless. I was poor. So this is what happens. You don't have rights unless you have money. This is what I mean when I say that. So I want to talk about this illegal immigrant that was he was a cop. Can't make this up. It looks like this guy named John, and it's Jon, Luke Evans. He was a Jamaican national, an immigrant. He was here illegally. Somehow he was able to become a cop. And one thing led to another. And while he was off duty, he decided that he was going to go purchase him a new firearm. And in the process, he was arrested for trying to purchase a firearm while being an illegal immigrant. So let me one thing that I really, So the incident involving John Luke Evans highlights the serious consequences of hiring illegal immigrants in law enforcement positions. If he can be a cop, why can't I? At least I know American customs and laws and policy and procedure. He does not. He knows nothing of the such. I don't even know what Jamaica's like. I would assume that is that third world? I mean, I don't know. I know that it's not the West. I know that their customs are not, their infrastructure is not what we have. I do know that. I don't know if it's third world, but I know that it's pretty darn close. So anyways, let's talk about what he done. He attempted to buy a firearm, and that firearm was then flagged by ICE and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, leading to his arrest. This case underscores the importance of ensuring that all individuals in law enforcement roles are authorized to carry firearms and comply with immigration orders. Hold on one second. This happened on July 29th. This is from the ICE arrest. Yo, my hair is sticking in my Band-Aids. That hurts. So this is out of Maine. So he was from Jamaica, but he was in Maine. This happened this year on the 29th of July. So it looks like John Luke Evans, a Jamaican illegal alien, was employed as a reserve police officer with the Old Orchard Beach Police Department when he was arrested on July 25th. ICE and the Bureau of the ATF were alerted of Evans after he tried to purchase the firearm illegally. Quote, the fact that a police department would hire an illegal alien and unlawfully issue him a firearm while on duty would be comical if it weren't so tragic, because that's what happened. We have a police department that was knowingly breaking the very law that they are charged with enforcing in order to employ an illegal alien. Now, this is what ICE Enforcement and Removal Operations said out of Boston. Their director, Patricia H. Hyde, said this: ICE Boston will continue to prioritize public safety by arresting and removing criminal alien threats from our New England communities. Once again, he is not anywhere near the age, in my opinion. What happened? I hit a button. No. He doesn't even look like, y'all. Be patient. Be patient. How do I close this? I'm hitting close. Jesus Christ, what have I done? Okay. He doesn't even look like he's at the age of maturity. So I do think that we need to find incentive for older officers. You know, maturity plays a huge part in how they handle these situations. Huge part. Are they still talking about homelessness? No, I'm not, because I'm talking about real shit, you dumbass. You look like you're sitting on the toilet. You know, so worried about everything that is unimportant. You know, people come here and they do that to try to stop me from actually being successful because they have no dreams of their own. They're trying to ruin my dreams by making me stop what I'm talking about. That shit's done. We're past that. This is the last time I'm going to address it. So anyways, as you can see, he's way too young probably to be even carrying a firearm. And he was a cop with a firearm. It looks like he entered the U.S. Oh, it says legally through Miami International Airport on September 24th of 23, but overstayed his visa after it expired October 1st of 23. How convenient. That was intentional. The border's open better. That was in 23, October of 23. So he knew he had to get over that border before Trump got in office. It looks like the Orchard Beach Police Department stated that Evans was hired in May as a summer reserve officer. The department said it reviewed multiple forms of identification and submitted his I-9 federal work authorization form to the Department of Homeland Security, DHS E-Verify system, which approved the form on May 12th. Do what? The point of E-Verify is to verify that they're citizens, right? Genuine question. I would think so. E-Verify. Are you kidding me? So he slipped through the cracks. How? He was approved by Homeland Security to work in the United States. That would have been under the Biden administration when they were allowing illegal immigrants to get work permits, and you remember. So it looks like he passed his physical and medical checks, passed his background check, and was approved by Homeland Security to work in the United States and underwent the standard course of training for a reserve officer before he was deployed on duty. Unbelievable. Looks like reserve officers are assigned to beach patrol duty and community policing, receiving firearm training, and are issued a department firearm. However, they are not allowed to take the firearm home, a personal firearm, while on duty. Well, by law, he ain't even allowed to have a firearm because he ain't a citizen. I'm so done. Maine is among several states that allow non-citizens to work in law enforcement positions. Somebody in Maine ain't very smart. In April, ICE officers arrested an illegal immigrant from Congo working as a corrections officer in Falmouth, Maine, after he allegedly attempted to illegally purchase a firearm. Give them an inch, they take a mile. You said, you can have a job. And they said, well, we want a gun too. Both of them. Jesus, is that not crazy? You remember, so I've talked about how they were hiring officers in the United States that were illegal aliens. And I said, what could go wrong? I need an editor. I really do. So we can stitch this stuff, because this is what can go wrong. What is this? I was looking for a different article, but this looks interesting. Yeah, thank you, Janie. That's what I'm trying to do. It's crazy. It's like I done lost everything, you know? Like it's like, God, y'all really be hung up on stuff that, like, not y'all, but like that trolls really just be hung up. It's like the double standard. I'm not allowed to have a cup and drink water. I'm not allowed to have an outfit. Like, Jesus. So it looks like some crazy lady at the fair tried to kidnap a child. It looks like she was arrested. Woman arrested for kidnapping a child at the county fair in Maryland. So a woman is facing charges for allegedly attempting an abduction at the county fair this week. Family and bystanders were able to get the child to safety and keep the police arrived. Police are investigating all reports of unwanted contact with children at the fair. Here we go. Centeryville. I try. A child is safe. The suspect is in custody because of the quick actions of bystanders and family. Police say that a woman tried to kidnap a child at the Queen Anne's County 4-H fair on Monday. God, she looks crazy. A family member intervened without hesitation to save the child and stop the suspect from leaving. 4 persons of interest were detained after being identified by witnesses. Alexandria K. Dawson, 28, was determined by police as the sole suspect in the attempted abduction and charged with kidnapping, assault, and disorderly conduct. And 3 other individuals were released. First of all, this picture right here of her on the right, she looks high and out of it. I think that was the right. It looks like a mugshot. Oh, she got a black eye, too. Somebody done punched her in the face. Rightfully so. Maybe she'll think next time before she tries to steal somebody's child. I'm telling you, good throat punching or eye punching. She looks like a raccoon on one side. Looks like somebody punched her. That looks like a mugshot. So it doesn't tell me how she tried to kidnap the kid. It just says, oh, yeah, she got a knot on that eye. What a psycho. I mean, for real, you never think, like say you were standing at the concession stand, right? And you're in line, and you got some lady behind you. You would never think that that woman was about to yoke your child. I'm telling you, women out here are just as bad as the men, specifically school teachers. Don't get me started. And also, when it comes to men being predators, they're sexually assaulting other men now as well. Like, it's crazy. Speaking of which, this lady got burnt. Let me make sure I can find this before I start opening my... Yep, found it. What a sick bitch. Sorry. I'm trying not to cuss today. I'm trying to work on my language. But some of these heifers, I just want to... So this is out of Illinois, and I actually watched a crime and law case on this yesterday. It's really disturbing because this child, a little boy, he's only 11 years of age. He was absolutely groomed and assaulted by his teacher. This was a substitute teacher. Her name was Allie Bardfield. She's 34, and she's pled guilty to 1 count of predatory criminal assault. This goes deeper than that. The parents of this 11-year-old child actually trusted Allie completely. And they would let Allie, as a substitute teacher, spend time with their 11-year-old son. The court has called these like play dates because, you know, his age is 11. He's not even a teenager yet. And that's what Allie would call him. She's like, hey, can he come over for a play date? Well, she was abusing him. She was accused of engaging in sexual activity with an 11 during play dates at her home between 2023 and May of 24. So these play dates, as you can see, lasted for around a year. These visits were framed by Barfield as harmless, but in the reality, it was far darker, a betrayal of the trust placed in educators to protect children. The abuse came to light when the boy's mother noticed unsettling changes in her son's behavior. And actually, what happened was she had dropped her son off at Allie's house to have a play date with his teacher. And when he got in the car, he had physical signs of distress. He was not acting right. He was acting weird. You know how children, they get real quiet and secretive, and you're like, what's up with you? You can tell as a parent when they have something on their mind or they're holding something back. And that's exactly what was happening in this case. And the mother become inquisitive as to what happened at Allie's house, and the son would not say anything. She was so concerned that she checked his phone and discovered explicit messages exchanged between her son and Allie, along with payments from Cash App of over $700. So this teacher was not only sexually abusing this child, but she was giving him money. And that's part of what these groomers do. That's part of what these groomers do. It's part of their game. When authorities followed up, the child disclosed that the abuse occurred during the it would have been unsupervised visit to her house, to the teacher's house. Something that really stuck out to me, I wanted to punch this woman so hard in the face when she started to blame this child. She tried to say, and let me just be clear, a lot of predators do this. They blame the child. They try to say that the child made advancements on an adult. It's absolutely preposterous. It's crazy talk. It's absolute crazy talk. There has never before been a child that would do this. This was an 11-year-old. He is not going to come on to an adult. It's crazy. It's crazy talk. It's victim blaming is what it is. You're blaming the child. During a courtroom appearance, Allie initially blamed the minor, claiming that the child had made sexual advances towards her. However, she ultimately admitted guilt, acknowledging the sexual acts did take place. It's crazy. Under Illinois law, predatory criminal sexual acts of a child is a particular serious charge, usually resulting in decades of imprisonment. This is why I wanted to talk about this. Allie faces a maximum penalty of 40 years in prison under a partial plea deal. Her scheduling is set for September 25th, and I hope they throw the book at her. And actually, I think she needs the death penalty. Let me tell you something about predators like this. There's no changing them. There's nothing we can do medically, therapeutically. There's nothing we can do to rewrite a pervert. Their brain is just not screwed right, and the best thing that we can do is take them out back and shoot them. They waste taxpayers' money, and they're non-reformable. That perversion that is deep within them, we cannot fix that. I don't agree with, do you know how many pervert sexual predators we have in prison right now? Let's see. What percentage of inmates are in prison for sex crimes currently? Think about being these parents of this 11-year-old boy, and you gave your child to this predator. I bet those parents feel immense guilt, and they don't deserve to. This was an act of betrayal, and you as a parent are not responsible for anybody else's actions. You are responsible for your child, but this was an educator, a person in a position of power who most people would not think would do this. But unfortunately, as we can see in recent years, this is becoming such a common crime that apparently we can't even trust people in positions of power anymore. I feel horrible for those parents. I feel horrible for the victim of this crime. This teacher absolutely betrayed this entire family, her entire community, and she's a disgrace. And, she better be glad that I'm not a judge or a prosecutor. Because, in my opinion, these types of cases, these women deserve the death penalty. I will never probably change my opinion on that. The men, too. That cop that we just read about that raped a woman in his police cruiser, just take him out back. Please. That is, let me say it again that is the only criminal behavior that we cannot reform. Sexual predators, rape, molestation, that perversion that's in them, that is the only behavior that we cannot reform psychologically. I'm looking for a picture of this teacher because I wanted to show y'all. She's, I would say she's fairly attractive. It's kind of mind-blowing how many of these women are actually, Jesus Christ. Well, I can't find hers, but here's 20 other teachers that have been arrested for messing with children. And as you can see, all of them are fairly attractive. What the fuck? Here we go. I don't think I'm going to be able to find a new number. No, I don't want to know how many inmates have been raped. I want to know how many is in jail for sex crimes. What percentage does sex crimes make up of overall crime? Jesus. In 2023, approximately 7.5% of all reported violent crimes were rapes. Rape is considered one of the most underreported crimes, with 63% of sexual assaults not being reported to the police. Jesus Christ. This is not what I'm looking for. I want to know how many inmates are currently in jail, rape, molestation, blah, 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 blah. Because that's the percentage of money that we could save if we just executed them. But anyways, I digress. Millions of taxpayers' dollars go to support these people in jail, and it's a misconception that killing them would be more expensive than keeping them. It's crazy. It's crazy talk. Crazy talk. How much is a bullet? How much does it cost to feed, house, and literally medically support an inmate for 60 years? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Y'all, I'm glad I have my computer. Oh, what a crazy day. I'm doing okay. It's just been crazy. The weather and everything. Let's see who I need to block. I don't think they do that. They do in some states. They do in some states. They've actually brought back firing squad in a lot of states. Actually, they just executed a guy in South Carolina by firing squad. What states have death by firing squad? They just reenacted like some old laws or whatever. Idaho, Utah, South Carolina, Oklahoma, and Mississippi. Who was the inmate in South Carolina that was killed by firing squad? They did one 5 weeks ago. Oh, they've been killing them left and right. Oh, Lord. Well, it looks like March 7th, they killed a guy named Bragg Sigmund. This was the first time this method was used by firing squad in the state's history, and the first time the U.S. has used it since 2010. He was convicted of the 2001 murders of his ex-girlfriend's parents. Sigmund chose this method over lethal injection or the electric chair, citing concerns about the reliability of the other two methods. So it looks like this inmate that they killed, this was restarting an old tradition. We need to do this in every state. You know, we got inmates in every state sitting on death row that have been waiting 10, 20, 30 years to be executed. South Carolina kills a second man, April 11th. South Carolina executes a second man by firing squad in 5 weeks. That's good. Columbia, South Carolina, a firing squad on Friday executed a South Carolina man who killed an off-duty police officer. Yeah, he deserved to die. The second time, the rare execution method has been used in the state in the past 5 weeks. He cried out as the shots shot him, and his arms flexed. A white target with a red bullseye over Mahdi's heart was pushed into the wound in his chest. He gave no final statement. He did not look to the right towards the 9 witnesses in the room. He groaned 2 more times. About 45 seconds after that, his breath continued for about 80 seconds before he appeared to take one final gasp. The doctor checked him. For a little over a minute, he was declared dead at 6:05, less than 4 minutes after the shots were fired. Damn, that was easy. 4 minutes, huh? What are we waiting on? So it looks like that inmate that they shot back in May, he was the first one to be killed by firing squad in our nation's history since 2010. I love that South Carolina was like, oh, so you think that lethal injection is too expensive? And then they go and reenact an old law so that they can buy bullets. I love it. Thinking outside the box. Yeah, that's crazy. Y'all, I gotta run. I gotta run. But it was great hanging out for a little while. It's crazy. All of those cases. There's a lot going on politically, and I've been looking into Benjamin Netanyahu. I try so hard. Do you know how many times I've looked up how to pronounce that? Netanyahu. I've been looking into him and stuff, you know, Israel's prime minister and his relationship with Trump and stuff, but there's just so much there that it might be like the Trump victim thing that it took me like 2-3 weeks to try to get a better understanding. Stuff like that, all of Trump's alleged victims. With all of those different names, my dyslexia, it's very hard to learn. So these types of cases where there's just like so much in it, like Israel's history, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. And, you know, it's caused me to have a lot of questions about where we are biblically. You know, should we be supporting Israel? Should we not? I don't know. I'm not a very smart woman, and I hardly know where Israel is on a map. I do know, but I do know. I still need GPS to get there, though. You know, I am a modern girl. But thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I'm sorry I haven't been like in the comment section, you know, like, you know what's crazy is some of my favorite commentators, they don't even look at the comment section when they go live. If you pay attention to people like Candace and Benny Johnson, and I'm not on that level, but they don't look at the comment section at all when they're on live. So I find that interesting that like when people like News Nation go live and stuff, like they're not in the comment section. They're doing their bit, and they're talking about what they have to talk about for that day, you know. And I don't know. I think a lot of people come to live looking for personal attention, and like, I think a lot of people are lonely, you know, and they come and they want attention, and you know what I mean. You know what I mean. They get offended by the fact that you're not paying them one-on-one time, you know, and they're not thinking about the fact that there's 200 people in the chat and it's just you anyways, or that you came here with something to talk about that you really care about. You know, I understand some of my followers might not like my content, but this is what I care about. You know, this is what I want to talk about because it's important to me. So, sorry I can't make everybody happy. I never have been able to, so it is what it is. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. It's good to see you, Robin. Who else was up here? I can't see. Hey, Cage. I just am not even today. Janie, thank you so much. And I hope y'all have a good afternoon. And we will talk soon. And pray for me. God knows I need it. And I'm praying for you guys. Happy Wednesday. Stay dry out there and cool. Bye, y'all.